Hello. Just going to do a little random stream while I chart alts, but I don't want to talk all the way through, so I'm going to be silent for most of it. So yeah, if anyone just wants to watch me chart for fun times, or if you've got any questions, I'll keep an eye on chat if I can. If you've got any questions, either put them here or in Telegram, which I'll also keep an eye on. Any requests, let me know, and then I'll try and come on and talk for those ones at least. But yeah, I just need to update all my charts because I really have been so bogged down with streaming. I haven't done anywhere near as much as I would have liked to have done recently. So mic off and just charting. Oh yeah, so I guess one other thing, I will do my blue list, which is basically all the alts that I have on futures, and I'll start top down, so I'll update the description later as to which ones were covered in here, but yeah, I'll be going down the list, which probably means I'll get to B and then never do the rest, because I've heavily overcharted all the top half of the alphabet and heavily undercharted the bottom. On that note, maybe I should do from bottom up. Yeah, forget that, I'll do bottom up. So we're going to start with ZZZ and ZRX, 22% on ZRX. Yeah, and see how we go from there. So yeah, I'll keep an eye on chat.
get a drum as a toy for Christmas. Was one of the greatest innovators. The note to and the right. It's a whole yard full of pan.
Microphone and camera back on. Hope you can hear me. Oh wait. Filters. Right. One moment. Turn my compressor back on so the music volume goes down. So SEI wanted me to have a look at. I did not get to the S's, I only got to the W's from the Z's, so this one was disappointing. I was being a bit aggressive on this and then it didn't hold, but daily demand, that's good. So what you want now is for it to close above here and create a weekly demand and not reject off there, so that's the weekly level. Okay, that's not so good. So we've got a 4-day supply right here, which is testing right now. So it's not a buy immediately. If you bought down here, you can find and hold on to it. This actually was a 4-day demand. Change my colours so I know what I'm looking at. 3-day, 2-day. Okay, so basically, yeah, it's got to get through here now. And the 4 days not closing for another couple of days, you want to close up back in that zone. And ideally over here, so you can flip the weekly. So there's levels to look at. I assume you want low time frame because most people want low time frame. So I'm gonna put a possible short here for a scalp, but I will explain that shortly. Just because scalps are scalps. So in the bigger picture, you're currently fine if you're long, which I assume you're long since everybody's long. That's your last up move, and we did test it once, tested the high, and now we're making another one. But on the plus side, what it has done here is made a swing fail of that low. So this, so what I consider this as is this is your demand that you're looking to hold for the next up move. It's hit it once there and was unable to make a higher high. Got really close, but was unable to. So when you come back to that demand, I then want to see it take some stops, ideally go into a lower zone. And you got it at 116. 16, Jesus. Okay, so you're basically fine then. nice. Yeah, you're fine. I can delete this off now. I think it's never going to come. It's not going to come back there for quite a while anyway. I don't want to waste my alerts. Okay, so you bought it at 16. I hope you've taken some profits. At least off it. So basically, like, what I'm thinking with all the alts at the moment is like, is this the top? And what I was just thinking, I was going to do a summary on everything I just did from the W to Zs. A lot of things now, this is very different in structure, but a lot of things now have two lots of 3-week demand underneath, and they're all testing the first one. So the question is, are they going to test it and go up again, or are they going to test it and then make lower highs? Given many of them are in monthly supply, or coming out of monthly supply, I'm erring to the short side, but 3 week demand is still a decent time frame, so it could still hold and the whole market could move up. And we need to really look at the others and the total free and all those sorts of things as well. But yeah, so that's why I would put a short in here. You've got a 4-day supply, which isn't a strong one, it hasn't broken 4-day demand. So I'll put short right here. You might make a daily demand depending on how the next 5 hours close. With another zone that's not that far off, but you want to. I tend to err on the risk-averse side, so I would say, you know, if we come up into here and you see a rejection, you should start thinking about taking some profit. But it's very hard to say at this point because, like I say, that's our last up move. And until it breaks this, potentially comes down here and then gets the retest, and then, you know, it could be a long time before we get that. But while we're holding that, we're basically okay. So for you, I would say either take some profit up here or start trailing at this point, because you don't really want this to come back down here again. Okay, I do have an alert on the one below. I'm not sure why I had that there. I think I was trying to get the more aggressive entries, and then I was thinking it could come, because it had come and retested again, then it could come down to the next one. And also because that tests the all-time high. Let's have a look at some indicatory things I probably should look at. Yeah, okay, so volume's obviously died off a bit over the whole market. That's kind of good because it means there's not sell volume either. And the RSI is resetting, which is also good. So I can see. Weekly just doesn't have enough information. Yeah, so we've got a bit of divergence on the 3-day. And this is a slightly lower high, so it's not the best divergence, but actually it's based on close, so actually that is divergence out the high there on the 3-day. Your OBV is still looking okay. So it's kind of hit and miss on this at the moment. Is it a top? We're still at the maybe stage. Like, it's consolidating long enough for me to think, you know, it's more than this, and certainly more than all these little moves. But you don't really want, obviously, it to come back down here to the weekly demand where you're far too close to your entry. Then we have seen some more volume come in here, but it's just a question if it keeps up really. Let me hide my indicators again. God, I can't even remember how to hide indicators anymore. I use them so rarely. I'll just delete them, that's probably easier. So, is your question, it's going to maybe depend on BCC? Yes, of course, 100%. So, like, yeah, if you've watched any of my other videos, you would have seen that, yeah, so I'm looking, you know, US dollar dominance on the weekly. It's hitting a weekly supply. It's whether it flips this to demand or whether this now just comes back straight back through it. I mean, it's at this stage, it's looking like it's closing fairly badly, but can it pick up on the 3-day and go higher, in which case it's not good for you. And then, like I say, total 3, and these have been my concerns. You know, if this is a top, like I always sort of said, I would prefer this up here, so there is the possibility still of another alt season, or a continued alt season, and it's shown on total 2, total 3 and others, all the same, and the alts actually look a little bit stronger and have some space, but the problem is total and Bitcoin. Total's at the monthly supply, so if Bitcoin, you know, can hang out here and go sideways, then potentially we could get another run on alts, let's get back to USCI. But yeah, so if you've got in from 16, then you don't even really want the low time frames. But the problem is with alts, obviously, if they can do this in 3 weeks, they can also do the same in reverse in 3 weeks. But yeah, I mean, I'd certainly be starting to trail now and or take profit if you haven't already. Like I say, that would be a possibility for a short for me, with the slight risk there that because we've taken the stops off the lows, this could also go and take the stops off the highs. So again, structurally, like when we got this 4-day away demand here, you know, you're looking for, you know, it's gone up, and when it comes back and tests, you're looking for it to take out the high. If it does that on the swing failure, then you're much more confident that you can then, if that swing fails, comes back down, then you look for your shorts. So on this, basically, it hasn't actually taken out the high yet, but it doesn't have to. It can just be a shift in structure and making lower highs. So that could be optimistic. You know, you do have a 4-day here, but yeah, I think just start being slightly wary, and it's really going to just, like you say, depend on BTC. So sorry, I can't be more definitive than that for now. You know, I like trade levels as they're hit, and the taking profit bit I find significantly harder, because you know, you could have taken profit here, like when it kind of rejected and came back below all-time high. You know, in this case, it's never come back to test any demand, so it's never really given me an entry. Don't hold things forever. I don't know how experienced you are, but don't hold it forever thinking it's gonna, you know, be forever. You know, if you want to think like that, or if you start thinking like that, then the best thing to do is go and take a look at the SHIB chart, which remember, everybody thought was going to go up forever, and then it came all the way back down to around 0. Anyway, I don't want to rain on your parade, but I just like to sort of moderate expectations when people just say they're going to hold, and you know, and also, yeah, don't do the thing when it starts to drop and you go, oh, it's okay, I got in from 0.16, it'll hold, because also it may not do that. You know, this is really not dissimilar to SHIB. You know, it hasn't really had a blow off top, so in its favour, we haven't really had the blow off top on this. So that can still happen, and definitely if you see that happen, or I don't know, have we here? You know, it's kind of a little bit there, but that really pumped, actually. No, that was the Bitcoin drop. So, you know, it's holding well against Bitcoin, I have to say. You know, that wouldn't have been a bad long entry, and for you to hold a long entry from here up to here is fine too. I don't know why you're saying lol. What did I say that was lol? But anyway, yeah, just keep tracking it, and keep trailing your stops now, 100%. Oh, probably about it can go back to ground 0, and that's why you're lolling, I guess. But yeah, well, we've all done it, don't we? You know, I was there in 2017 buying Bitcoin for the first time, and you know, somebody told me, oh, at 20k it was going to go to 25k, so I bought more, literally bought the top in 2017, and then learned how to trade in the following bear market. So we've all done it, and you know, also in that same bear market, I was DCAing all the alts, and I got out of a few, but there were some that never came back. And I've made that comment around alts in general, that a lot of the ones I feel, so like one I was looking at earlier, for example, Zen, I think was is it Zen? No, it wasn't Zen, because that's in Zcash. Yeah, probably Zcash. So Zcash, for example, although people like Zcash, but you started in 2017 too. Okay, so you know what you're dealing with then. So Zcash is now starting to look like it's made, it's actually made an annual supply there. It's rejected off it. And yes, people can and will buy this just purely because it's the low that it had before, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's the low it's going to have forever. But I look at some of these, the recent supposed bull run we've had. Like, yes, we've had some meme alts and things like that have moved, but things like this have just done basically nothing. Particularly a lot of the older stuff, it hasn't got to that 2 month supply, hasn't got to this 2 month supply. Is now probably going to, it's just another month for the 2 months, but yes, it's approaching the low. Yes, it might bounce at that point and prove me wrong, but I think there's a distinct possibility some of these alts are never going to come back. And there's some that look a lot worse than this, maybe even Zills. No, I can't remember which one it was. I don't think it actually was. Oh, XTZ? No. So again, yeah, this is bouncing because people will be calling this a swing failure of the lows, but I don't know, I'm sort of dubious about stop hunts at the lows. I mean, that was a stop hunt at the lows, and then it went up just to supply and came straight back down again, and now it's stopped. But now there are some stops under here. I'm highly dubious to whether there are any stops still under here from 2019. It might be because there's people who missed that entire thing, who missed their 4 opportunities to get out and are still holding. But yeah, some of these I just think, are they ever going to come back? Quite honestly. And then having said that, and some are looking significantly better than some, on the other hand, I need a bit of a break and then I'll do the summary a bit shortly. But you've got things like this, which has got made a 3 month demand. It's not ideal because it's got this giant wick, but 3 months demand on that, on XLM, XEM was annoying me a little bit, but that, it's not quite made a 3 months. I think it has a monthly just below. Waves is another one that was looking kind of interesting. Where are you, Waves? But again, these charts are just crazy when you look at which broken on the log scale. I'm not quite sure because I feel like I'm skewed more bullish if I look at log scale, and then I think I become significantly more bearish if I look at the linear scale. But yeah, something like this again, it's made a 3 month demand. And it's just bounced off it, and what I was kind of mulling over to myself, and hence why I wanted to do a summary, is whether this is going to come back down. I had put an alert, so it's got this 3 week demand here. That's what I meant earlier when I said it's 2 3 week demands. It's got a 3 week demand there, which is in now and might hold, and then it's got a 3 week demand here. So are they going to retrace a lot? They're all weak demand and supply in this area because it's just a range. It doesn't mean they don't hold, but just means they're relatively weak or lower probability than if they were strong. In the case of this, it's only got up to weekly supply on a second test, hasn't even made a monthly, but a lot of these are coming off monthlies. So it's just that battle now, is this demand here and the new 3 month we've got going to be strong enough for a bounce off the top and a bigger move, or are we going to drop a lot more deeply into the zone? But that is the endless question. It looks like IOTA. I saw IOTA actually had a big pump yesterday, didn't it? Well, I don't know about big pump, but I think when I did my list, I occasionally saw the list by what's moved, and I think IOTA was up there, which obviously is a surprise. Okay, yeah. So yeah, very similar to the waves, but then slightly. This is more the clear structure that I was talking about. So it's got a monthly supply. That actually a 3 month supply. So 3 month supply that it's rejected once off and has come down, but obviously hasn't made a lower low for this wick that goes all the way down there. And now it's coming up from a second test. It's flipped to 3 month here. So that's a sort of dubious 3 month demand. Let's see if this bull run will be the same or different. I don't know, because I guess I don't see this as a bull run. Like, for me, this is a bull run. This is one candle. So, and if I went, I can't look at this quickly now while I'm here, but like if I went back to waves, for example, which has a bit more history than this, although this I think should have more history. only maybe not, this does get back to 2018. I remember this being released on Binance as one of the first things I bought or was trading actively when Binance started. Everyone got on Binance in Australia because it had power, and that was like Australia, and everyone got super overexcited. And I used to go to all the power meetings and things in Perth, and weirdly power's come back. You don't say we're in a bull run, okay? Not yet. Yeah, agreed. So yeah, something like that. So this had a decent bounce. So I guess that's a weekly demand. Yeah, it's got a 3-week supply, so it's clean. You know, well, it's clean from the perspective it's got 3-month supply. It's come down as we'd expect because the second hit's gone quite a lot deeper into it. In fact, it was taking the stops at the upper level. But again, makes it complicated because it's taken stops above the 3-month. Does that mean it's going to take stops under here, which is a distinct possibility? But then there's a 3-month demand. So until I guess I see, and I feel like it's a significant length of time, and you know, unless I see that, which I think is unlikely, I'm more likely to see this possibly down, possibly holding this weekly, but possibly down to the lower level, then going up, then testing, hanging out here for another 3 years, and then the next bull run. But hey, if we see this, then I'll go, yeah, we're in a bull run, because at that point we've significantly broken these 3-month supplies. But from now, we haven't. We've also got this 6-month here, which essentially we swing failed the entire 6-month, or the entire price action from 2018. So yeah, there's a lot of conflicting information, and that's where I can struggle a bit on the analysis, because I'm looking at so many different time frames. So I do these streams very high time frame, and then what I try to do when I'm trading myself is like I go and look so the alerts hit. What you're conflicted, yes, I assume that's what you mean when you say you feel the same. Yeah, I put the alerts in, and then when the alerts hit, so I had a lot of alerts here in February, and I think also possibly even later, and we had these first hits, but a lot of them, like I was thinking earlier, they look bad when I go back through the old charts, but also a lot of them were disclaimed with like, at the time I was putting in premium, I'm putting in aggressive longs, but I don't actually believe them. It was only because everybody was so bullish, and I kind of got sucked in. I was like, well, I need to have some aggressive longs just in case we do go straight through here. And in some cases like this, we had hit a yearly level, so there's hope that it might go through, but then they didn't, and they came in the backs again, and then they didn't hold a higher low. But they do give you scalps, so yeah, so for me I put these alerts in, and then when they come back and hit, then I'm looking lower time frame. So when we looked at SEI earlier, I'm looking at when it hits that daily up there that I had for you. I'll be like, I'm not just FOMOing in short there, and then saying, what is the structure looking like, what's the market doing, yeah, is it giving me structure to enter? And a lot of these, actually, if you've watched any of my other streams that I did earlier this week, I assume actually a lot of them have done probably quite well. Like if I went back and looked at, it's just the timing that makes it slightly more complicated. Let's say like VGX already bounced off there really hard on the immediate. XAI didn't quite, so some of them didn't quite hit the level, so I reset the alert there, but again, decent move from there. FitFi, not so much of a big move on that. But a lot of these, are they starting? A lot of these were just early. So I still feel like, and that's also why I was saying I wanted lower on Bitcoin, which I still do, because a lot of these have just front run the levels, and I don't necessarily believe that's how it should be. Oh my gosh, it's 7:20. I've got to go out shortly, so I need to finish this up. Yeah, you can see CKB only, so I need to look back through all of these as well. See, that's had a solid bounce off there. Things like this, I need to see, are they going to get through supply? And see also front run the levels slightly. I think some of the later ones front ran, some of the earlier ones were better, and some of these like this have messed with my levels. I'm going to get distracted now, my friend's going to kill me because I'm going to be late. But anyway, yeah, so I'm just looking for these, are they going, what they're going to do when they come back and hit the other supply levels that I put in. ETC I'll look at very quickly. I did have a long on that as well, actually, that hit. I had a really nice short and a really nice long. Yeah, it's basically the same as everything else. But this has a 3 month a little bit lower, so I wouldn't mind this going deeper, but it's the same as that structure that we saw on IOTA, and you know, it's got a 3 week down here, it's got a 3 week here that was already tested. Obviously the weekly that's held there, and then they have this big pump up to here. I quite like DCC because of the grayscale link, and because obviously everybody's into grayscale at the moment, so worth checking the grayscale chart always on ETC to see if that's the only thing. I think I did look at that briefly afterwards a bit. I think it was a monthly supply, so it made me slightly more reticent about it. But yeah, this is, so 3 month actually, it's come off already. We've also got the monthly closes coming up, so I need to check everything to see if they're going to have new monthly closes, which I've been adding on the W to Zs that I've been doing today. But I quite like the look at ETC, but whether, you know, is it ready? Is it going to push through, you know, a 3 month supply? So it hasn't actually got up to the 3 month, but I think actually there is hope for this getting up to the 3 month. That me being bullish and optimistic. It's nice to see you as well. I assume David G, like, I assume you have another name in my group, because I don't know who you are, but I probably know who you are if you're in my group. ETC, yeah, so it's flipped daily here, so it's promising, but it's got 2 day supply, 2 day supply. I've put an alert there for the top, just need to see what it's going to do, and whether they're going to pick up, you know, is this support, because at the moment it's still in this down, and until it gets past here, makes demand, blah blah blah. Anyway, I have to go. I will try and do, I'll carry on with this tomorrow anyway, and do the above W's, the A to W section of my watch list, and I'll try and maybe do a summary of today's one for people to watch. So yeah, have a good night, have a good weekend.